There was one lady, I'm going to make up her name. She's black. Her name is Hazel. And Hazel does hair. She has no union card. And I put Hazel behind a white woman who has a card. Well, Hazel's always worked with these people, but she's never had a card. Hazel's going to get a card. Hazel puts in 16 weeks. And then Hazel is going to take the exam. And I'm like this. And Hazel is smiling. She's happy. And I said to Hazel, did you take the test? Hazel said, yeah, I'm going to. Well, as the season goes, we wrap at the end of 24 shows. We come back for the second year. I said to Hazel, you got your union card? Hazel said, no, I haven't taken the test yet. I asked Hazel about 9 times. Each time I got closer to her, and each time she wouldn't laugh. I said, Hazel, you have to tell me what you're doing. And she said, if I take this test, I'm going to lose all my friends. I said, these white people? She said, they're my friends. I said, so you're never going to take this test? She said, no, Mr. Cosby. The next day I had Eddie. Eddie is a woman. Eddie is black. Eddie took the test the second day, passed it, and didn't lose a friend. So what was going on and what was happening in those days and those times? You could, but you can't. You know, the contradictions, and that's what I call it, a time of contradictions. We had white fellows that worked on the set. Wonderful people. But nobody's bothering us when we put the black person behind them. It was like, well, one day it's going to happen, so when it happens, it happens. I mean, we're not going to jump out there and say, let's make it happen, but I mean, there was no resistance.
Was there resistance at the network level?
Ask this question of Bill. When the Julia script came in, Hal Cantor, a very good writer, wrote it. And he didn't tell us that he wanted to cast a black woman in the role. When you read the script, you got about halfway through it, and then you realized, because of what was in the script, that it was written for a black woman to play it. And we got Diane Carroll, a beautiful woman, put her in the show, and the show was a hit. She was the first black woman to star in a half hour, where she had a major role. And some of the press, and this was true with Bill's shows, would say, it's not black enough. It doesn't reflect the black situation, as though it had some duty to do that, and as though there were no middle-class blacks. And what was your reaction, Bill, when you read those comments? Now, the show was a hit. A lot of people liked it. But some people just couldn't adjust to the fact.
Well, it's irresponsible to think. See, I want the same thing you're having, Herb. You understand?
Well,
if we come in to eat, if you sit down and you order a hamburger, I want a hamburger. I don't want an angry hamburger. I don't want a burger. I just sit up and act angry. I want a nice hamburger.
medium rare.
Yeah. If I get on the bus, sit down, I don't want to sit in the angry seat. was sitting at his seat I want to sit in. And, I mean, so you cannot take the masses without having them vote. And then they split. They split on something, 73 to whatever. So when I heard people talking about, where did she get that wig? I said, from the studio, idiot. Well, how can a nurse afford to have the reality of what? How does Lucy get in a factory to do chocolate? And nobody's gone. Where's the factory that's around her house to get the job? Where does Fred Mertz work? How come he's got the same apartment, and how come the Cuban doesn't speak Cuban and his relatives come in and live with him for 3 or 4 weeks? This passage for white people is driving me crazy. So, and then there was the thing about Corey. Well, what are the Corey and stuff? Craziness. Sit back, enjoy. Diane Carroll, one of the finest singers, performers, entertainers in the world, coming into your living room. And you're going to be concerned about a wig? You're going to be concerned because Corey didn't go with Huey Newton? And stand at the window by any means necessary. So it was all a bunch of whatever. The series before that, East Side, West Side, George C. Scott, Cecily Tyson, went on the air, off the air, in a heartbeat, because Cecily was playing something, and they were social workers, and had that look, and people said, "Zonk, don't want to see it." So somewhere there's a wonderful series that will have all the grit and have all of the pain, and a lot of people don't want to see it.
Well, you got a lot of that into the Bill Cosby show. We're going to look at 2 brief clips from that. First of all, it has a great opening. The music in the opening credit sequence, opening title sequence for the Bill Cosby show, and then
is this the Huxtables now?
No, you're getting ahead now.
I'm sorry.
No, we're still with the Bill Cosby show.
Every show was the Cosby show.
Yeah. So, and then there's a great episode with Rex Ingram.
Ah! Yes.
Okay, so
they'll know when they see him.
Okay. So let's see it then.
Oh, this curtain is going to take 12 years. Yes, it's a good curtain, but dramatically speaking, think of yourself in a funeral parlor.
Only get some dragons and some rolls and reason miners.
Every day. All the way. By the way, that's a white woman on bass. I'm serious. Carol Kay. That's Carol.
How you doing, George?
What is this?
You remember me?
Do I have to?
You know what? I just wanted to talk to you.
What are you doing here?
Well, I told you I was coming down this way. I got a proposition for you.
Look, buddy, I've had a rough day.
Yeah, okay. Well, now, that's what I want. If you just have a minute, I want to talk to you. Now, see, I was thinking about what happened this morning and everything. And what I'd like to do is, I'd like to make it up to you.
Well, it was a lousy job anyhow.
Yeah, and I also realize how hard it must be to be out of work at Christmas time.
Look, pal, Christmas is no different than any other day with me. I'll get another job.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to have some money so you can buy presents and things like that.
I ain't got to buy nothing for nobody.
All right, then forget Christmas. Now, I know you're going to need a job to make some money.
What kind of job?
All right. Now, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus?
$10.
What do I have to do?
Okay. See, there's this community center. And every Christmas we give a Christmas party for the little kids, see. Now, all you have to do is they come up and they sit on your lap, you know, and you give them the toys.
Is that all?
Well, you give them the toys and you say, you know, ho, 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 and ha, 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 you know.
No deal. That's not for me. I don't get along too well with kids. Some people like kids, some people don't. There's no law that says you have to like kids. Still a free country, you know.
Well, just think of it as a job.
Big problem with kids. To look at me, you wouldn't believe that I had a kid once. A little girl, Nancy. She died when she was just 6 years old, a long time ago. My wife never got over it. Well, life goes on. I used to tell my wife that. No, that's not my kind of work. I used to be a salesman, 7. Now, if you offered me a job where there was something to sell,
Well, just give out the toys.
I can remember there was a time I could sell anything. Didn't make any difference what it was. But in reality, it was could you sell yourself? That was the secret.
Of course, you'd be doing me a big favor if you'd play Santa Claus. Because if you don't, then I have to, and I just can't see myself as a skinny Santa Claus.
What is this? You feel sorry for an old man? You got a guilty conscience because it's Christmas?
No.
But I don't want your handout. And I don't need your charity. And I don't want your fake job. Now, why don't you go on and leave me alone?
Well, wait a minute, George. Now, listen. Okay, so you don't want to be Santa Claus. Then just come on over to the party. I mean, nobody wants to be alone Christmas.
That's Jimmy Smith on the organ. Now, what I want all of you to understand is that Rex Ingram, you all now know, Rex, we shot the show in 2.5 days, single camera. And Rex, after the second day, then we're going to go to the half day, he said to me, I just want to thank you because this is the first time in my acting career on film that I've had a chance to play a real live man without him having to be something low case with some white writing that says, the Lord, you know, where's y'all children's? He didn't cry, but he just looked at me and he said, I want to thank you. And he shook my hand. I had no idea what this really meant. I know what it did. For the shows, the Cosby Show, for the second year, you're going to show something else from it?
Not from this show. We're going to show something from the Cosby Show.
Okay.
From the 80s.
Okay. But I do know that in the second year, we only went 2 years, I went to Ed Weinberger, the writer, who, by the way, is the same class as mine at Central High School in Philadelphia. He'd written for Dick Gregory. He was the head writer.